This is an authentic portrayal of a Chinese young girl, a true image of a left-behind child on the edge of the Qinghai-Tibetan Plateau. She is exposed for the first time in front of the camera, at the tender age of 10. We can perhaps see her as a mother figure to 2 children, as she takes on the responsibility of caring for her 2 younger sisters' daily needs. With her mother's passing and her father working outside for the majority of the year, roasted potatoes become their staple diet. Whenever Aunt Er calls upon the 3 sisters to help with chores, Small Ying readily takes her sisters along without hesitation, as it means they can have rice during their work break at noon. After Aunt Er finishes cooking the meals, the 3 sisters are left without a place at the dining table. They have to huddle in the corner, eating plain rice. In order to ensure her sisters have some vegetables, Small Ying bravely helps herself to some and discreetly adds them to her sisters' plates, but she is met with Aunt Er's biting remarks. Aunt Er quickly assigns the 3 sisters the task of taking the pigs to the back mountain after their meal. The path to the back mountain, drenched by recent rain, is exceedingly slippery. It doesn't take long for the second sister's feet to become blistered and bleeding. Small Ying can only use paper to staunch the bleeding on her sister's foot. Following Small Ying's lead, her sister proceeds to apply paper to the other wounds. Despite the worn-out and tattered rain boots, her sister still regards them as precious, for they are her only pair of shoes. Small Ying's cousin returns home from school. Small Ying, who has never had the opportunity to attend school, has a fondness for books. Taking advantage of Aunt Er's absence, she borrows a book from her cousin. Although she doesn't recognize a single character, it doesn't hinder her deep desire for an education. Just as Small Ying becomes engrossed in her reading, Aunt Er calls her to cut grass for the pigs. In order to avoid Aunt Er's scolding, Small Ying always fills the bamboo basket to the brim. And so, she continues to work tirelessly until evening. In return, they receive 3 bowls of rice and a small portion of vegetables. Although their meals are simple, they are far more satisfying than the taste of roasted potatoes. Throughout the year, the 3 sisters wear the same worn-out coats. Their home is even more dilapidated, with the only piece of furniture being a decrepit wooden bed. They live in a damp environment, where even the bed sheets drip water. Yet, this is the only bedding Small Ying's family possesses. Their father, who they haven't seen in a long time, finally returns. He brings back new clothes and shoes. In celebration of his return, Small Ying specifically picks a large cabbage from the vegetable garden. It is something she would normally hesitate to eat. Grandpa also brings out some noodles and cooks a large pot of them. The entire family gathers around the table. Although there is no meat, they relish the meal. Their father has returned this time to facilitate Small Ying's enrollment in school. The next day, he takes Small Ying and her sisters away. Small Ying finally gets the opportunity to attend school. She sits in the classroom, filled with excitement and cherishing every minute. She concentrates diligently, afraid of missing a single word uttered by the teacher. After school, the snack stalls by the school road attract the students, who eagerly make purchases. However, being without any money, Small Ying can only watch from afar. Having never tasted snacks before, she quietly picks up a discarded snack bag and tucks it into her pocket. Upon returning home, while nibbling on tasteless potatoes, Small Ying remembers the snack bag and takes it out. She licks the remnants on it, savoring the taste she has never experienced before. In the end, she cannot bear to throw it away and neatly folds the snack bag. Today is the weekend, and the absence of her sisters at home makes her feel lonely. So she takes a flashlight and goes to Aunt Er's house to play. She sees her cousin eating an apple, but she no longer remembers the taste of apples. Her cousin initially intends to share one with Small Ying, but Aunt Er scolds him and he silently leaves. Despite any displeasure in her heart, she simply picks up a stone and hurls it fiercely to vent her emotions. The weather is splendid today, and Small Ying plans to pick some pine cones from the mountains to sell at the market, in order to alleviate her father's burden. The pine trees on the hillside are numerous and fruitful. With her tender hands lacking any protection, she directly breaks off rough branches. Small Ying has long grown accustomed to the slight stinging pain. She quickly fills a basket to the brim with pine cones. The weighty load presses her down, making it difficult for her to rise. With the help of a nearby pine tree, she manages to struggle to her feet. The descent down the mountain is treacherous, and the weight of dozens of pounds burdens her tender shoulders, rapidly depleting her energy. She walks with great difficulty, stopping and going, until she finally reaches the doorstep. However, she is intercepted by a little girl, emboldened by having family support. The little girl grabs Small Ying's collar, her expression fierce. Hindered by the presence of adults, Small Ying dare not retaliate. After exchanging a few verbal insults, they part ways without reconciliation. Being bullied by other children is not a new experience for Small Ying. She has grown accustomed to it. Once back home, Small Ying leans on the makeshift table to do her homework. Without a suitable chair, her body soon feels sore and uncomfortable.